Hello again. This is Tom. I'm continuing in my series on righteousness. Becoming righteous is the major theme of the Bible. And as I made the point yesterday, if being righteous is only being right with God, please shoot me because life's not that much fun and I'll be okay. No, a large part of becoming righteous or being righteous is being that person who God imagined before the worlds began. If that weren't so, there wouldn't be this story of Abraham in the Bible, who's a father of what real faith looks like. He's the father of becoming who God imagined you to be. Faith always has an object, and for Abraham, that object was certainly God. But if you read the story, it was about becoming who God declared him to be. And that he was declared righteous 10 years after he said yes to God should create in you some curiosity. He was right with God, but he wasn't right with himself. God defined him as a prolific father, but Abraham would have none of it. That is, until he was brought out underneath the stars. And I have a feeling that you also believe in God, but you're not so certain about the you part. But why is the definition, which I talked about last time, and the process, which I'm talking about now, of becoming righteous is so important? Because the potential for you not knowing who you are, and also the possibility that you misinterpret life in such a way that you never become that person is great. To become the father of many nations, Abraham had to go through the process of faith, of hope, of love. And this is the process of vision, death of a vision, and resurrection of the vision. And this is a process that I've been discussing. And as I read Abraham and my own heart, the faith stage is that moment under the stars when you finally believe, I am who you say I am. I've already looked at the first soil in the parable of the sower, because the parable explains the process of becoming fruitful and the obstacles that Abraham and you and I face in each stage. Hearing and believing what God has spoken over your life has its difficulties because, frankly, it's unbelievable. Like the first soil, you've developed a crust that often rejects the thought that you are the beloved of God and that you are someone with a special calling. In fact, an amazing calling. And that's because you've had a lifetime of experiences which has told you the opposite and just packed that ground down. So to hear the whisper of God telling you who you are will take some preparatory work on your part. But when you finally say yes to the you God created, you enter right into the hope stage. Glory, glory, glory. Glory, glory, glory. And I'm going to dwell on this stage, this hope stage, for a while, because this is where we live the longest, between I am and not yet. But let me tell you that heaven is not where this is going to be worked out. God's going to work this out in you here. At least that's his great desire, as it was with Abraham. So Jesus describes this stage in the parable as the second soil. When trials come for the word's sake, Jesus said. When God says something to you, expect the opposite to happen. Trials come because God has planted something in you. The sun will come out and it will look like everything is against that seed sprouting. No external stimulation nor encouragement. It said of Abraham that he knew full well his own inability and how the circumstances were stacked up against him. This baby occurring was impossible naturally. But those things didn't dissuade him, and you will always live in these two realities, one of what God said and two of what your natural senses say. Beloved, your job is to protect the seed and do what you can to nourish it. To do that, you must first realize how precious the seed is, and then you need to come to the place that you are not getting your juice from others. Yes, we need to be in fellowship. But the purpose of fellowship is confirmatory and encouragement, not getting your fix for a day or two. You need to learn how to get your own fix for yourself. You need to learn how to nourish yourself. You need to know how to keep yourself in the love of God. The purpose of the hope stage is for you to find your roots in God, whether life is applauding or booing. For example, at church, the congregation is singing, I am a child of God. And you have this sense of yes, that resonates. At that moment, the seed that was being sown finds acceptable and receptive soil. But then Monday happens, and it comes with all the junk that Monday brings, and so things don't change. So the seed that was sown doesn't take root because we say that isn't the case. And Jesus said, because you have no root in yourself. The reason life doesn't change right away, and even better, why things happen exact opposite, is this process of becoming. You must go through the vision, then the death of the vision, and then in the power of God and in the time of God, the resurrection of the vision when it's impossible for you to produce it. So to be successful going through this hope stage, you need to find another preacher. By the way, who is the best preacher you ever heard? Who's that? Well, if the answer is anyone but you, you'll never become who God imagined for you to become. You are the best preacher you can ever have. In fact, you're the only preacher that you really believe. So what have you been saying to yourself? I know that there's a psychology behind self-talk, but because of that, some Christians find it suspect. But the Bible is full of admonitions and examples of speaking to yourself. The Word of God is nigh you, even in your mouth. Again, so what's in your mouth? Next time I'm going to talk how God forced Abraham to say different things about himself. But for now, to become who God has imagined, confess. Now, confess means to say the same thing. You need to say the same thing as God. You need to confess the truth of yourself. And I'm not talking about sinnership. We talk way too much about sinnership at church. We need to talk about sonship. You need to talk about sonship. You need to say it out loud to yourself. I am the loved of God. I am a child. I'm the son or daughter of God. And like braces, this will feel uncomfortable at first, but just for a short time. Till next time.